Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so what do we have here? Welcome. We have 7 viewers that joined. What are we talking about here? Okay, people are asking for me to post a stream. I'll see if I'll post a stream or I'll just compact it later or something like that. I'll do something with the stream, but for now we're just gonna be streaming. How we can add a timer in the game? You can use a timer unit. Are you talking about using Bolt? Adding timer with Bolt? Timer and game. Yeah, if you're using Bolt, you can just use a timer. And then when the time is done, you just trigger your game over or game end and see what the score is and stuff like that. How is the sound? Is it... I think I should turn it up a little bit. Not gonna be talking too loud, something like that. Okay, so today what I'm gonna do is actually, where do I have the endless runner? I want to actually do not the endless runner, but the platformer. Okay, so I have here the project, the easy mode where everything sounds fine. Okay, cool. Yep. Yes. So I'll show the timer in a little bit, but let's go and start what I'm trying to do here. So I'm gonna be working on creating the 2D. I want to copy these sprites from here. 2D platformer. So if you guys saw the videos, let me try to pull something. Hi there. So I'm gonna be working with this theater mode, with this package that I published early access. So currently I just have 2. So if you've seen this video, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'll actually do a quick demo of, but first let me, okay, I gotta get something done right here. Okay, that does not gonna work. Demos, endless, and I want to move it to the 2D platformer. Okay, and inside here, I'll create a new scene. 2D platform. Okay, so this is where we're going to be working on. And the demos, what I'm talking about is these demos that I already have. So there's 2 of them. You probably the people that have seen this are probably already tired of me showing, but it's just what projects that I use for creating this package of units. So this is a space shooter, and this is using that package. And if you take a look at the graphs for this, you can see that they're pretty simple. So these are the units that I'm working on. So right here, the moving horizontal, moving vertical. So instead of creating all that logic from scratch that has other logic using inside it, you can just use these units and speed up earlier. And I'll be showing that right now with how I can reuse them with for the 2D platformer. So that's just a quick look at that. But let's start working with that. So first, let's get our background. I want to actually style it, something like that. Let me see how it looks in game. Okay, let's pick it up, and I think I'll have to scale it to 4:4. Okay, so that's gonna be our background. And now I can add a platform. Keep everything named from the start. This can be easier. So the assets that I'm using are Canyon assets. If anyone doesn't know, that's usually what I use for the tutorials because they're available to everyone. Everything sounds fine. Hi, hello, welcome to the stream. So that's the reason why I'm using the Canyon assets, because it's pretty cool that for tutorials that I don't have to focus on making assets that maybe if I like for this project I'm gonna be sharing it with you guys, so I don't have to worry about the rights and stuff like that because it's publicly owned, which is pretty cool for him to have that. Okay, now for this one I'm gonna use tiled as well, so let's make it wide and I'll move it down somewhere there. Probably change it up a little bit, but for now let's start with this. Actually use 10 units, and then I need to size the 2D collider to 10 as well. So this is a platform size 10, so let's actually write the size here so I would know. And okay, for now I'll just have one of them. I'll create prefabs in a little bit. What else we need? I think that's a good start. Now is the creating our process of creating the character. So right here I have some animations. Two of these have an animation of a run animation, which has 3 frames. I'm not sure if you're supposed to reuse the middle one, but I'm just going to set it up like that. I'm going to reuse the middle one, so it's going to be 4-frame animation, and then the other ones are just poses. So let's start with creating this animation right here, the run animation. So just drag it in here, and we'll call this a character. This is gonna be run. Okay, so now we have a character run character, and this is gonna be our animator. I think I spelled it correctly. If it's not, we'll change it later. So that's going to be our character animator there. This is going to be our character. Character. Okay, now for our character, let's add a box collider. Configure that. Oh, it's hard to see on that wide screen, but make sure it's symmetrical. That's fine for now. We'll adjust it later. Okay, and I'll need a rigid body 2D for it as well. Freeze rotation on Z, and I think that's or we'll turn on interpolate because I'm going to use actually camera follow, and also I want to use continuous and detection. Actually, I'll leave it off right for now, and I'll show you why I want to use the continuous instead, but for now I'm just going to have it off. Okay, so that's the settings for my character. And if I click play, let me quickly show why I need the continuous. When the character drops, you might notice, okay, my camera. Okay, so let's actually connect the camera. I'm using the Cinemachine camera, so it's pretty simple to set up. I think that's a very nice package to use for cameras. So I'm just going to use the 2D one, and I'm going to follow, wait, what did I just do? And I'm going to follow my character. So follow option for Cinemachine, follow character, click play. The chat's pretty quiet. Okay, let me deselect the camera. And. So if you take a look at the character right now, you might notice when he hits the bottom, he's actually going a little bit past that at the bottom. I'm gonna get the character closer. Offset currently he's 10. Let's get the character closer. Okay, where is my distance? Camera distance. There it is. So let's get him closer. Since I don't have the full screen here, I just want it closer, but probably in the real actual game you would want to move further away because this can be too close. So let's check it out. Click play. So yeah, if you don't use continuous, the character, I think, can be in more noticeable once I add jump, but the character is actually gonna go through the ground a little bit, and that's not what we want. So that's why you just want to use collision detection continuous, so it checks collisions every frame. Now, before I get into adding all the other animations, let's actually add some bolt logic. Let's do add a flow machine, and I'm gonna look at the timer as well and show you how you can set that up. So add a graph, and for our character, what I want to use is the horizontal preset. So move horizontal preset. I'll leave it as default, and I also want to use the jump preset. I'll leave the settings as default as well. that's yeah, that's pretty much it for our logic. Our logic. One thing I want to do is switch my player, so character, to the player layer. So I'm using player 3 as a as the player layer. So if you have it set up to something else, and let's actually put the tag at player as well, so that it'd be easier later on to find out. Okay, and so I just missed a question. Okay, so the timer. There is a timer node right here that you have, so you can use this node to for actually displaying that time. And on start of your game, you can just start the timer, set how long you want the timer to go for, 20, and then you have the option of displaying the time in this percentage of time that ran out, and then well, no, yeah, so how much percent of time passed, and how much percent of the time, how much actual time is passed, and or the remainder. So you have two options of displaying it, and then once it's complete, the timer runs out, you can trigger your game to go into game over. So this is the I guess this is what the question was about. I'm not sure if the person that asked it is in the stream with us, but just okay. So I have another question in the chat. Hey, welcome anyone that joined us. I'm gonna be making a 2D platformer here. Well, it says it in title, so probably know that. Just a quick, I forgot to post the stream on Discord. Maybe someone there wants to join. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Just forgot to do that. Okay, so the question is, I wanted to ask a question about game dev. I'm learning game dev since 3 years, and Unity always gave me a headache. I couldn't make my first game until now. Now I'm starting with Unreal from scratch. Is it right step? Yeah, it depends what exactly you're going for, what type of games you want to make. I mean, any engine you can, yeah, you can use any engine that you find that is easier for you to use. But for some things that you're trying to do, you would prefer to use one engine over the other one. So, Unreal, I just never actually, I did install Unreal, but I never actually got into trying it, because I guess the setup process, unless you use blueprints, which when I started with Unity I was actually using C#. That's the whole visual scripting was a recent thing. So, well, I did some visual scripting in another engine, and I decided to like try out visual scripting in Unity as well. Okay, so let's play it and see what we have, because we just added that. Welcome to the stream. If anyone is new here, which I'm pretty sure you guys are. Okay, so the animation is still not working. I mean, we have not set up, but we can use the horizontal to move right and left, and you can see that the animation is actually flipping correctly, and that's actually one of the options of the horizontal preset. We got the jump working, and I think we can jump twice. So the ground check is working like it's supposed to. That's pretty cool. So let's set up the animation. And the animation, if someone's watching that actually got the asset already, it's available on itch.io. It's an early access of the preset. Well, the collection of the units. It's I'm still working on it, and this is one of the updates that I'm doing to it. And in it, there are. Let me show you actually how to find in the presets. If you're using actually in the presets, there are they come with presets for the animation as well. So if we take a look at the horizontal move, so here is the part that is in charge of flipping that character horizontally. It's a pretty simple logic. I just check if there's a sprite render. So if there's a sprite render, you probably want to flip it. So it just uses the Boolean check to see what direction you're going. If you're going to the positive direction, it's going to be true. If you go into the negative direction, it's going to be false. And that's how the sprite renderer gets flipped. Pretty simple. If someone is looking for a solution, you can do that. But here is the animation part. I also do the component check, make sure that there's an animator. If there's an animator, I do try to trigger a set integer animator, and the variable that I'm using is move h. So move h is from the horizontal preset, and then also have move v from the vertical vertical. So that's the setup that I decided to go with. So at any point, if you don't know what the presets are, you can go inside and check the presets like this. I will be making documentation about it more, but the other way is actually when you're playing the game, it's also showing the parameters that I'm trying to fire, but they're not found. So right here we can see that there's a parameter called ground, and it's a Boolean. It says doesn't exist. Then we have move h, which is the move horizontal, then grounded again, and then also we have a jump, and a jump is actually a trigger. So you can look at these warnings, and they will tell you which parameters you can add to your animator. So let's go and quickly add those parameters. And to add the parameters, you go to the animator, click on the parameters right here at the top, and let's add those in. So first integer, this can be move h. Then we need to add a grounded, which is a bool. Grounded. And I'll show you how they're all used and how you can how you can go between the animations. So yeah, I try to use really general parameters that you can actually use to make the logic of your animation transitions inside here. So, and I'll show. Okay, I think that's okay. Grounded, jump, and move h. I think that's the three parameters that are used currently in this. In this setup that we have here. Okay, so let's go to project. Let's see what we have in chat. I'm switching to Unreal only because and Unity Bolt gave me an errors. I don't know why. For example, when I used Bolt for raycasting, the raycast shows me black icon and it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, black icon when you're doing raycasting, because raycasting doesn't actually show anything. Yeah, well, if you can use Unreal, like it's easier for you to understand it and you get less bugs, yeah, go with Unreal. I think for one thing that I based on how much research I did was if you're trying to make mobile games, then I don't think Unreal is a good choice for that. But for PC games, like yeah, Unreal and on Unity, I think that you can use either one of those. So that's just my my opinion. There is Unreal still has royalties, as far as I know, and so you need to. But I guess that's not really a problem. But so just some of the things when you're making video about item bar. So I think this is the same person that is asking for it on Discord and everything. I will get around to making that hopefully soon. But like I mentioned already, that the item bar is actually exactly the same as the inventory. Well, not exactly the same, but it uses basically the same stuff that I used for the inventory management, except you just add hotkeys for it. So if you are you nervous? No, I'm just trying to talk real fast. Bro, why did you left FPS tutorial series without completing it, and your car tutorial series in best game dev series in never seen, because it starts from scratch to final published game? Loved it. So well, FPS tutorial. Wait, which are you talking about Buildbox, the one that I was making with Buildbox? Your car tutorial series. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Hello, Victor. Victor. Oh, it's a Victor. Okay. We are trying to create more animations. So let's go and add some animations now. Select a character. Let's open the animation window. Okay, so one thing that I have to switch is also add one more frame. So select a character, and I think you're supposed to add another frame here, because this is because it's going to jump from this pose to this, which are like similar, unless you just skip that middle pose. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm just going to add that in though, and let's create another clip. So this one is going to be this character. So these are going to be poses. So we'll use jump, character jump, and our jump is this one right here. Okay, and add another one. Okay, character. Let me copy that so I don't have to retype it. And this can be fall. Also a pose, think this one is the fall one. And the last one is idle. And it's this one right here. So that's the 3 animations of some sort that I'm going to use. And let's get this animation screen a little bit bigger. So now I need to set up the transition. So the default one is going to be the idle. Then we'll have the jump, fall, and run right here. Okay, I think I'll have to do something different here because I need to see those parameters. So let's resize the window like this. Okay, so now for the transition, what I'm going to do is transition from any state to run whenever we have move h, which is not equal to 0. So that is the reason why I used integer instead of float, because if you use float, you can't use the equal sign, the equal comparison. So that just, if someone is wondering about that. Okay, nothing new in the chat. Cool. Now let's check for grounded, and grounded needs to be true for us to actually run. So that's the 2 conditions for the switch. Now for the settings, I want to have 0 transition time, and can't transition self, I'll set it to false. So there we go, because the run animation is actually a loop, so we don't want to transition to self here. Okay, and now let's make another transition from any state, and if our state is going to be idle. So in here we're going to be checking for not equal. Wait, did I? Okay, I messed it up. So move h is not equal to 0 here. And here we're checking if move h is actually equal to 0. That's when we want to idle. Also, I want to check for grounded, and grounded needs to be true as well. Yeah, so that's the 2 transitions between those. And another transition to jump state from any state, and that is if we get a jump trigger. So if jump trigger gets triggered, then we'll go to jump state. So, okay, I forgot to configure can transition to self. We don't need to transition to self here. Okay, so now also disable transition to self and duration at 0, and transition from jump to fall. And I here, since my animation is a pose, I actually want to I actually want to have a has exit time. So exit time, I want to set it to, I think 6 probably. No, it's probably more than that. Let's do 25. Because it's only 1 frame, so 25, it's almost one second. I think that's how it's counted. Okay, so transition like that. And okay, we got some activity in the chat. My bad, sorry, my English. You have a upload of a PS tutorial series in Unity Bolt, and then you post next part after long, so that left incomplete. Sorry for the checked it now. Unity Bolt. Oh, that's what you're talking about when I was making the controllers, FPS controllers. That's probably what you're talking about. Yeah. So So yeah, I was making that first-person controller there, and I was going more towards the. I went towards the inventory, so that's where the last post that I did for that series was the inventory. So and also I added crafting. So it kind of shifted from the first person to making. Okay, people are probably making their game with listening to you. Is that what you're doing right now, making the game? That's cool. Okay, so car game made in Bolt. This series on your channel is my favorite game dev series on. Oh, okay, so you're talking about keep the tractor going. Is that what you can say in car series? So yeah, I guess that one I was making that one for a game jam, so that's why I kind of finished it off when I submitted to the game jam. Did some other tutorials on it, like I think I did joystick tutorial on it afterwards. I just used that project. If you're talking about that one, that's Bolt versus Blueprint, who wins. I can't really compare those because I did not use blueprints, so but I'm pretty sure Blueprints was around for a little bit longer, so I'm pretty sure they have more support for what you can do with the blueprints than with Bolt. Bolt only got bought like in a year by Unity, so they're going to be adding more support of the features that Unity has, but for now I think probably Blueprints has more control of it, but it doesn't really mean that you need all of that, but they have more options. I think that's, yeah, but then again, that's just my my assumption because they were around for longer. Okay, so I got the transitions to the run, transitions to the character idle in jump. Now I need to make transitions for transitions from character run to character fall, and this transition is going to happen only if x times 0 this transition is going to happen if grounded is actually false. So as soon as grounded is false and I'm still moving, then I want to transition. Hence the exit time. No, we don't have exit time. And I think that's all of the animations, and I probably want to do the character idle transition as well, just in case that the grounded, like I guess the character slides off or something like that. So if the grounded is false, it's going to transition there, grounded false, and yep. So that's the setup of using those parameters to create those transitions. I'm making game. Just listen to you. Yep, that's cool. Maybe blueprints are better, but personally I know Unity better than Unreal. I don't want to switch to Unreal, but I can't make any games because Unity Bolt Raycast is not working and I don't know how to code. So yeah, if you're having a problem with Raycast, you can actually post the screenshot of your graph to the Discord, and I can take a look and see if I can help you with that. So if you need the Discord, let me try to get a Discord. Yeah, there's a Discord link in the description, but let me post it in the chat in case. Make it easier for you to. So here is a link for you guys. That's the Discord link. Okay, so that's the transitions. And now let's test it out, make sure that we didn't mess anything up. Okay, so we got idle animation. Well, it's not a real animation, but idle pose. We got running, working, and then jumping and falling. And then if I fall off, there's also the transition there. Okay, so that is how you go about setting up the animations for your characters using the parameters that we have here. Now, what are we gonna do next? What do you guys want to do next? Add some coins, or let's actually create a prefabs. Let's create prefabs from our platform. So go here, create a folder, prefabs, and we'll create a prefab from our platform. There you go. By the way, my game is actually in 3D space, and I'm not actually using our orthographics camera. So just by having the background shifted back a little bit, you can get this kind of parallax look, or it's not really a parallax. Well, that the background is moving at a different speed as the player moving around. So that's a pretty cool effect that you can do. And you don't have to do anything to add that in. Okay, so we got the platform prefab. So now we can duplicate it and move it around. Do I have snap turned on? Yes. Okay. So we'll add some more platforms. Something like I had in the screenshot for this thumbnail, for this video's thumbnail, something like that. And now let's add some coins. So the coins actually are, there's a preset for that, so we can move the coins right here, but I think I need to scale them down by half, so something like that. Okay, and let's duplicate them, put some coins here, and okay, so that's gonna be good for coins. And let's move these all. Okay, let's create a empty coins, move that in. Okay, so I think Discord. Oh, welcome to the Discord. Let's see that you joined. Okay, so that's what we have here, and now let's put that, keep it cleaner. I'll add the UIs presets. So inside here I have the timer. So this is the timer, and this is my coins collection. So let's take a look at the timer that I have here. So game UI points. So I just called it points, and for the timer I just have it just looking at the time since the game started. That's all it is, and it's rounding it to multiply. I actually multiply it so it's 1/10 of seconds, and then format it to 0, which actually just drops all the rounds it up. I need to move the camera a little bit back. It's too close. So let's move it to, yeah, let's do 8 for now. 8. Okay, click play. So there you go, we got our character to run around, collect those coins. Pretty cool. Let's get some other stuff in here. So what should I do now? I'm gonna do a moving platform. So I'll move this platform a little bit further so you can't actually be able to jump to that platform, and you have to use a moving platform. So let's actually add a moving platform to this platformer. Let's make sure that we get stuck to the side, and it's because I have not set the material for my rigid body 2D. So usually the fix that you go about doing that is just creating, am I right? Like, so you create a physics material. Where's my physics material? Hopefully I can find it here. 2D. Physics material 2D, and we'll just do no friction. No. And set the friction to 0. Where's our character? And set that as the material we're going to use for the rigid body. Let's actually set it for the box glider. So now that stick should no longer work. Okay, and I'm gonna move the platform a little bit further. Well, let's actually move this one a little bit further the other way, so that you can't jump for sure. Okay, so let's go to sprites, and what I'm gonna use for platform is this right there. But I want to slice this one. So currently, if I squish it, so this, I want to make it like something like this right here. But it's actually distorting the picture, and that's not what I want. And to actually slice this image, we can go to sprite editor. And in here, we can specify which part do we actually want to stretch. So, and it's this middle part only. So this part right here is going to be the one that can be stretched, and everything else is going to be kept as is. And there it is. I think I want to make it a little bit closer to here. That way my platform can be smaller before it starts deforming. Click apply, and I think that looks pretty good. So this is my moving platform, and let's name it moving platform. Okay, so for the moving platform, first we need to get it to move. So we get a mesh type. It says we need to switch to use a full rectangle instead, and I think that's the same thing that we're getting for the rectangle as for the platform as well. So let's switch it to full rectangle. Click apply, and those errors should go away now. Okay, moving platform. Let's add a box collider for it. Box collider 2D. So 0.5. Let's do 3, and 5. And do the same thing here. 3 and it's actually -3. Just make it a +3 and 0.5. Okay, so that is hard to see, but yeah, that fits perfectly. So that's our box collider, and let's add a thank you for Discord link. I appreciate your guidance. Okay, so flow machine, embed, added graph. So what I want to do is actually move between 2 positions in my graph. I'm going to do a real quick setup for this right now, but I'll probably end up making a unit for this So let's add yeah. Let's add an end position variable, and it's going to be an object variable, and I will do a vector 3 for this one. So this is the point that we want to go to, but I'll use the actual starting point where the platform is placed as the starting point. So let's actually add another variable, start point, start position. And this one is just going to be a private variable here, and I'll set it. You can hold Alt down to actually switch from get to set when you're dragging it in. And on start, I want to set the current position. So get position of the transform and set it to that. So that's what I want to do on start. And then for update, actually for this I want to use a fixed update. If you don't use fixed update, it's actually not going to work properly. If it's not going to work, well, it's going to work fine for rigid body controller, but if you use a character controller, it's actually not going to work properly. Update, fixed update. So on fixed update, I want to set position, and let's use rigid body set position. Rigid body set position. Oh, this one does not have a rigid body yet. Okay, so we need to add a rigid body here. So, rigid body. So how I decide if I need to add a rigid body or not. So anything that I move in the game, well, not just like move once in like 10 seconds or something like that, but if I move if I can move continuously throughout the game, then actually I add a rigid body. But if I don't want it to be dynamic, I switch it to kinematic instead. And now that should help me out with the movement of it. There is some benefits of doing that. The collisions actually are working correctly that way, because if you collide with just a box collider, if something is asleep, it's not. If a rigid body is asleep, then it's not going to wake it up. So the dynamic objects won't really have a collision that will be detected. Now for the set position. Do I have set position? For the set position, I'm gonna use the time. So let's get time. Get time. And here, so the idea is to actually go between these 2 points, the start position and the end position. And I'll be using the linear interpolation. So I need a vector 3 and lerp. Pass in, I think the start goes to A, and I'll check. If anything, we'll have to switch those around, but right now that's how I'm gonna do it. And this is going to be the position that we're going to pass here. And now I can use the time to transition between those two. Now the t is between 0 and 1, so that's what I need to pass in, but the time is going to be just growing non-stop. So to convert it to some value that I can actually work with, I can do a modular operations. Modular. So a modular, and that's gonna basically always return me return a, what is it called, a remainder. So it's always going to return a remainder of what's left. So if I do 4, that means the value that I'm going to get out of this modula is going to be from 0 to 4. But I actually need to get it from -1 to 1. To convert it from 0 to 4 to that, I need to divide it by 2. Half of that value. So I'm going to get from 0 to 2, and after that I want to actually subtract and shift it by -1, so it's going to go from -1 to 1. And the last thing is I actually want an absolute value of it. So ABS absolute. So that's going to convert it to be from 0 to 1. The reason why I go through all of this divide and subtract instead of just dividing it by 4 and using that, so that it actually goes bounces back and forth basically. So this is the movement. Let's actually go check it out. I think that's should be, so I'll put the start point right here and the end point, so let me show 6.5, and the end point, let's put it up right here, so 1 3. Yeah, just leave it there, and 1 and 3. That's the endpoint that we want to go through. The transition is going to be 4 seconds because of the 4. We are dividing it by 4, so it's going to actually go back and forth in 4 seconds. So 2-second transition. That might be too fast, but let's take a look first before we increase it. Remember, I've seen you live first time. Do you live often? Or while I wish you be live more often, it will help a lot. I used to do a live stream like once in 2 weeks, but lately I was busy with some projects. So, but yeah, the idea is like, yeah, I want to actually. So here is a problem. We got the movement to work, but you can see that the character is actually not sticking. So I did a tutorial on this and how do you go about this, how about connecting that. So let's actually go and set that up for this platform, a moving platform. So we got the movement to work. So this is the platform moving. Okay, let's actually group this and call it movement. Movement. Alrighty, and now I want to fix that problem of our character being attached to that platform. So I'll use an on trigger. There's different ways you can go about that, but I'm just going to use the on trigger. And what I'm going to do is on enter, I want to set parent. Of the collider, and I think I have to get transform. It's component get transform. There we go. So get transform. I don't think it actually can get the transform automatically from the collider object for some reason. And for the parent, I'm actually going to be using what am I using? Self. So I want to connect to the platform. So that's for attaching to the platform, and then if I leave that trigger, if I exit that trigger, I want to remove that remove that parent. So set it back to none. It shows a warning, but this is actually a fine operation. So get okay, I have to connect that collider. Almost missed that, and I think that's it. Oh, that's all we had to do there. But now we need to add a trigger. Oops. A trigger. So I'll use a box collider 2D, and the reason why I'm using another box collider is so that I have the trigger. I can control the trigger where it is actually located. So right now I'll put it up on the top, and I will only have it be triggered on the top of the platform. So something like that. Okay, so if the player or anything, any other object, well, currently I'm not filtering out, but any other object triggers this, is gonna get attached to a platform, and it should move with the platform. Let's go check it out. Hello, yes, welcome to the stream. I did not mean to click on the video. That's interesting. Okay, so okay, it's not working properly. We have yeah, for some reason it's actually not working properly. Did I miss something? Because the player does go inside and becomes a parent, but he just slides off. Let's see if it's actually the friction that is creating that. I don't think so. Nope. So I did do something that is causing that. Let's try using the update instead. Maybe I messed up the order, the actual which one you're supposed to use here. Okay, I'm gonna have to look up that tutorial that I did. I actually find it pretty often that I look through my own tutorials to remember what I was actually doing. Whoops. Okay, so for the movement, gonna cost when is the package gonna cost when it's done? Yes, so I'm trying to actually make it. It's actually taken a lot of time right now, so I'm gonna actually make it that it's gonna cost something when it's gonna be done, and it's currently available as an early access, and it's a lower price right now, but then after it's gonna be done, what I decided is like the more work that I put, I'm gonna increase the price with that. So that's what I've decided for now. So let me try something. So instead of using the rigid body, because that it might be a problem because I'm using the rigid body here. Let's just use the transform. So set transform. Set transform. Oh, set position. Okay, set position. So instead of doing that, let's try change the position of the transform. It's not the transition on of the original. I'm back. I'm in bed now. I guess you're gonna fall asleep watching this. You'll save this stream on YouTube. I don't know if I'm gonna leave it active. Okay, so that's the missing part. I'm not actually supposed to use the rigid body to change the position. I'm not sure like why is it like that, but basically it's really picky on what's the setup you use. So if you use the transform, then it actually works. Well, good thing that I fixed that. Okay, so when you transform, now everything is working. So now you can move on this moving platform, get here, and pick up those coins. Okay, so we got the moving platform. Now let's get what do we have here? Let's actually add a obstacle that we can move around. Okay, so for fun, let's actually move this platform to go from here. So it's gonna, so we can use it as an elevator to get up here or go all the way up there. But the other thing that I want to do is actually add a box right there that I'll be able to move around and see if it's actually going to get attached to the platform and be moved correctly. So add a box collider. I think I want to scale it down. The box is probably a little bit too big, or not. Let's make it 0.8. Box collider, and this is going to be, it's going to have a rigid body 2D, and it's going to have the yeah, I think I don't have to change anything here. Just leave it as is. And let me see, make sure that my character has no friction. Okay, so my character has no friction. So we have a moving box now. Let's go and move that box. I want to actually see if this is going to work. Okay, I guess those the platform is attached to the coins now. That's very interesting. Okay, I just fell down. Okay, so let's move these coins away from this platform. I can filter out by like a tag, or yeah, I think by a tag things you can actually move, or avoid some tags. For instance, if the the tag is going to actually avoid it. But you can just move it away like that, and that should be good enough. But I really want to see how the box is going to behave. Nice, it actually gets attached. Pretty cool. So yeah, if you want some, if you want to add this box to get to some point that you wouldn't be able to access otherwise, that's what is the difference between the layer mask and the tag, because both seem similar functions. So tags. The tags don't really have that much functionality as the layers. Or layers actually can be used for rendering. So if we go take a look at the main camera, and we can find that the layers are actually used here. Where are? So right here, so we have the column mask. So the masks are actually used here, and you can disable what you want to render in your camera. So for instance, if I want to disable the character from rendering, you can see that the character is actually just disappeared right now from my camera. So right here. Okay, so if I turn the player back on, the player shows up here. So that's masks. That's one of the things they can use for camera. Also, the masks, if you go to project settings and for physics, in here you have this mask matrix. It's called matrix or matrices, matrix, and it's actually using the mask. So the more mask you have here, the more options you're going to have here, and you can control the collision. What can collide with what. So for instance, I have a player, and if I don't want the player to be able to collide with another player, I can disable this, and there's never going to be a collision with other players. So that's also for this you use masks, and again, for masks you have those drop down menus that you can use. Tags are a little bit are less, I guess, hard-coded or less strict than the masks. So you can just create as much tags as you want, and usually it's just used in code. So like for instance, what I've seen most is when you're doing the triggers or on trigger events or on collision events, you filter by using tags. So I don't know if that helps out, but yeah, I like, for instance, for the most place where I use the tags is actually if I want to filter a object that I already have. Whereas the mask can also be used in raycasting. Let me select my character. So, well, not character. Let's select moving platform. So, for instance, in this on trigger, inside I actually have support for both the 2D on triggers and the 3D on triggers. It actually combines them, so you don't have to do a separate check. And in here it actually compares the tag. So this is what is used for the collision. So you can pass in the tag that you want to filter out. If you don't pass any tags, it's not going to filter anything out. Now if you're doing raycasts, Let's do physics raycast and just whatever. Then, well, actually, raycast, and in here you have the option of passing the layer mask. You can't really filter by tags, but you can filter by masks. And let me, I think I need to look for mask literal, layer mask literal, and I can pass it in. And you can select any of these, or you can select all of them. And that's the other benefit of using a mask, that you can actually select one of them, or or several of them, or nothing, which, I mean, what's the point of selecting nothing? But how it works, it actually encodes, it encodes into an integer of the selections. So for instance, for instance, if you go here, you can see that it says 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. But if you go to add layer, actually it's not showing. But yeah, it's basically binary. So this is going to be, if you want to just select default, it's going to be 0. No, it's going to be 1. And then this one is going to be 2. This one is going to be 4. And this one will be 8. So it's actually skipping them, because if you want to select multiple of them, so this one and this one, it's actually going to be 3. So yeah, it's like binary how it connects. So that's why there's only 32, because it allows 32 bit integer to encode all of the options that you to be able to select all the options. So that's a very long, I guess, answer, but yeah, that's the difference between the mask and the tag. Layer, mask, layer, and a layer and a tag, I guess. I usually refer to it as a mask, but yeah, it's a layer, mask. Okay, so okay, what we have now. So we have a moving platform. We have a box now. We have a box, and let's actually get, well, we can add some grass if we want to make it look more appealing, I guess. Okay, and now let's actually add a door. Door. I'll put the door right here. Thanks for explaining. I think I got clear idea of both now. Okay, cool. How can you use bool to make in-game, like astroneer, in-game editing, like astroneer? I'm back. Welcome back. Yeah, that's I'm gonna probably, I do have, wait, did I make any? Yeah, I did make some tutorials that were just scratching the surface of that topic. So if we go here and go out to the videos, what I'm talking about is where I was doing these bolt units series. By the way, what do you guys think? Was that helpful? I kind of stopped it without actually getting your guys' opinions, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think, yeah, 5 of those episodes. How to use units in Unity Bolt. Was that helpful or not? What do you guys think? But what I was talking about is how to... Okay, so it's this one right here. How to generate and create meshes with the Unity Bolt tutorial. Okay, we have an ad right here. Sorry about that. Can't even skip it. Okay, so I use in this tutorial I actually went about how you go about creating a mesh, and this is, if you want to, you can take a look. Actually, I'll drop a link to that video in the chat. So if you're interested, and in here you actually go through how you create a mesh, which is what you have to do to be able to create those custom terrains. You'll have to modify the mesh itself. You don't use like boxes or blocks to modify. Even for Minecraft, you actually have what's called chunks, and you use those chunks to actually create well, a chunk is a mesh, and you modify that mesh whenever you want to add another block to that chunk. You need to modify the mesh, and this is right here. This, what you see, is just what you need to be able to create just one. Well, this is 2 triangles, but this in here it creates 1 polygon. Well, not polygon, but a 1 face, basically. This right there. All of that code, all of those units is just to create this plane right here. It's not even a cube. You also need to add the other 5 sides to it to be able to get the full cube. 5, yeah, 5 sides. And that's just if you're trying to make something like Minecraft, which is just uses cubes. But if you want to do something use something as Astroneer is actually using I think marching cubes. I think, yeah, that's what it's called, marching cubes algorithm, which works a little bit different. It actually looks at surrounding, so it's it looks at the surrounding blocks, and if they're filled, then it actually modifies what type of mesh it creates. And I don't remember how much variations of those meshes are. I'm pretty sure there's way over more than like 8 or 16. I'm not sure, but yeah. So for different configurations of the surrounding blocks, it actually needs to create a different shape for it. So that part right there, just creating all those configuration is going to take some time. But I guess if you actually use the super units, then you just have to do it once, and after that you can just reuse those super units to help you out. I mean, the same approach that you would do with code. You wouldn't actually re-enter all the vertices each time you use it. But I mean, this is just the start of even going towards that direction of terrain creation, and this is a Minecraft style. So it's so right here actually have a demo of Minecraft style, I didn't actually use the mesh. I didn't go through with actually using the mesh to create all this. This is actually using a just cubes. So all of them are just using cubes. And if you just leave it at this approach, you can't really create a big map. I don't know if you can see how big the map is, but yeah, this basically, if I go to create a bigger map than that, then it's gonna like slow down like crazy, because you just have way much more vertices than you need, and it's just trying to render everything. Yeah, you should make a car racing game with Unity and Bolt. Yeah, something like that, like a racing car game with Unity Bolt is easier to actually create in Bolt. But once, yeah, I feel like once you get into this generation of actually like something like this, like mesh generation, and it gets pretty, the graphs get pretty massive. So unless you structure it correctly to use super units to be able to reuse those like the graphs like these, and to have as little of them as possible to create something that you want, that's the only way you can actually do it with Bolt. You won't be doing this in every graph. You really need to learn how to use the super units to be able to achieve something like this with Bolt. I also have so in here I show how you can do the use random values to create a terrain, and then this one is actually using Parley noise. Those ads again. And in here I actually show how you can use the Parley noise to actually create generate these blocks. I'm not sure if I showed the height. No. Huh. Was there another one after that? Oh, actually, yeah, the last one I did it live. So this is the last one that I did, and what I did live. Okay, so that's just, yeah. Okay, so back to our doors. Sorry, that was just a long answer to the question. This is these. Sorry, I got a question on Discord. Okay, that is taken care of. Let's get back to the door. So for the door, I'll need a button, and I'll add a button right here. And this is gonna be our box. This will be. Can I remove? Okay. This is gonna be a grass. Grass. This is our door, and this is our door button. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The terrain generation in game and all of that is actually pretty interesting stuff, but it is something that you wouldn't do as a beginner. I mean, you can. I mean, you can task like you can just put a goal to anything, and just tackle that goal. But yeah, it's not as easy as just to make something like a car racing game or something like that. Because like for instance, the platformer, like what I'm making right now. So this one is more like a level design and art that you use here. That you focus more on that, on the graphics. You're not really focusing on the code, because like if you think about how much code that we did like during this live stream, all I did was added that character controller for my character, and then the moving of that platform, and now we're creating this button that's gonna open that door. So these type of games, you're not actually coding that much, and it's more about designing an interesting level or writing an interesting story that is going to be fun to play and stuff like that. Okay, now let's do something. So I'll add a flow machine here. And this flow machine is going to have a variable. Open door sprite. Open door sprite. Okay, and I can connect. Okay, so sprite can connect this sprite right here. And now that I think about it, let's actually use a state machine instead, because I want to have two states, a open and closed. Okay, so that's embedded state machine. And for state machine on start, yeah, we don't really need anything. And I need to add another, create a flow state. Then transition, make a transition. For the transition, let's do a custom event. So custom event open a door. So we're just going to listen for that custom event to open the door, and after we enter this state, we're going to set sprite of our sprite renderer. Let's see if I can find a sprite render, set sprite, and we are setting the sprite of this object right there. Okay, so that's, I think that's all the logic that I'm gonna have right now for it. Let's go to our button, and for our button we'll also add a state machine. For here we'll add a box collider 2D, and it's gonna be is trigger embedded and this is going to be button pressed or pressed. Right. Pressed button. Sprite. Sprite. And we can connect that pressed button sprite here. Go to state machine. Add another flow state machine and then make a transition. I could have done with just a flow machine, but let's just do it with this. So on trigger, I'm not sure if and we're looking for the player tag. So I'm going to use the player tag here. So on trigger enter, I'm going to do the transition, and on enter state, I want to trigger the custom event. Open door, and I need to add another variable, and it's going to be the door that I'm trying to control here. So it's going to be a game object, and I need to find that door, connect it like that. So I will want to open the door and then set sprite. Set sprite of the sprite renderer. Where is my sprite renderer? Set sprite. And I want to use this sprite right here. Self open. Okay. Okay, that's right. Okay, I think we have everything connected here. It is a trigger. Okay, so let's try it out and see. I don't have anything that's going to happen with the door right now, but we can add a box collider that will be able to. So if I click that button, there we go, the door is open now. And let's make sure that the door is closed to begin with. So there, it's closed right now. And then if I click that button, the door is open. So if you want to do anything with the door, let's actually add a box collider. And let's make it a trigger. It's triggered. And since we're using the state machine, we can get it to behave differently. So for instance, in here, in the state, we can actually, for instance, give a message saying let's actually do that. Trigger player on enter. Let's do a log for now, but you can pop up a dialogue message or something like that that's going to say something, but we'll do a log. String need to find the button, something like that. And then if you transition here, you can, let's actually copy this right there. I think that would be faster. And a win UI or something like that. That's just a note that we need to add a WinUI. Alrighty. So you have a door. I don't have a UI, a WinUI yet, so that is one of the things that I need to do. So let's click that button, go back here, and add a WinUI. You get that. We can transition to the next level or something like that. Like there's a whole bunch of things that we can do here. Now let's add an enemy. Okay, I don't have any sprites that I can use for enemies, so let me find something that I can use as an enemy. Okay, so I think these spikes will do. Convert them to sprite UI, and I'm actually going to do full. The pixel per unit 64. And the reason. So let's just keep it at full size, and I can actually tile these. So I can just make one spike if I want, or make multiple, like that. Okay, so let's add some. Let's move the button somewhere further away, like somewhere here, and let's add some spikes. Something like that. And make sure that we have some rewards. Give a player a good reason to try to avoid those, to pass those spikes and get all those coins, you know. And then let's actually add, let me disable, make sure that the background is actually not touchable. That'll be easier for me to select these coins. That's too much for, we have a button here, so that's so there we go. Now with the spikes, what we want to do is add a box collider for it. So change in. Wait, what am I? I'm selecting the UI. Where are my spikes? Grass, and this can be my. Just call it enemy and me. Okay, and here I want to actually select that tag enemy, add a box collider, and I will just use this trigger. I'll use triggers instead of just box collisions. Now the logic for losing, I guess we can move it to here and do on trigger. Okay, what do we have here? How couldn't I be here? How couldn't I be here? I'm not sure. You're here now, so that's good. And me. So if we trigger an enemy, then we want to trigger a game over screen. Now, for the game over screen, what I have is under UI, I have a game over UI right there. So we want to actually enable that, and I want to stop the time as well. So let's set active. Game object, I want to find that game over UI and turn it on. To stop time, I think I want to stop the time in the game over UI itself. So currently I have some logic for play again, but that button might not be always used. So I'll add another flow machine here. And inside here, actually, let me undo that. I need to go to the prefabs, add a flow machine here, embedded, added graph, and on start, I want to set time scale to 0. Let's click play and try it out. So there we go, I get that game over. I still have the animation played because I don't, I mean, it's not time scale dependent. Okay, so now if I click play again, I think there's gonna be a problem. Yes, as I thought. The scale time scale actually is still set to 0, so it just freezes the game. So we need to make sure that in the UI, whenever we turn on the game UI, we want to set the time scale back to embedded again. Okay, we need to go to the prefab and modify it there. So flow machine, embedded, on start, set time scale, and I want to set it back to 1. Okay. Low bag. I mean, okay. So, whoa. Okay. Hello, penguin. Please reply. So play again. Okay, now the time scale is working fine. Now I think I need to, if I click the button right now, I don't think, see, this is where I need that box to be able to jump up. I think that box is required. I didn't even plan for that, but it looks like it works perfectly. So I'll need so one thing that I need is to be able to lose the game if the player falls beneath this platform. And to do that, we can just add a empty game object. So limit, we'll call it limit, game limit. I'm not sure if that's a good name, but whatever. Just gonna leave it like that. 0, 0, 0. And a box collider 2D. It's going to be a trigger, and the tag is going to be enemy. Move it down right here, and I can scale it. Okay, so if the player goes beneath this platform, then we're going to trigger the same game over screen. Let's try it out. Okay, seriously. Okay, I mean, not really, penguin. I called you your channel. Sorry. Okay, so there we go. That looks perfect. let's get this box here. Press the button. Let's see if we can have enough. I need to add some friction on this box. It flies to, or make it heavier. There we go. I guess I can do that. That's a cheating way. Wall jumping. And we can actually work on that game, a winning game window. Okay, good. So what's the question? I'm still not getting the question. What am I supposed to reply? Okay. So I think what's the time? I've been streaming for 2 hours, so that's cool. And I think let's add another UI screen. Let's add a winning UI screen and win level complete. Yeah, let's call it level complete UI screen, and then I think that'll be it for this live stream. Hey guys, okay, do you make an effect like potion for player for twice jump? Will you parallax scrolling background? So parallax scrolling background. So right now, if you saw that background is actually moving sort of like a parallax, and it's because I'm actually in a 3D world. Well, my camera is actually in perspective view. So because of the background is further back, you can see that it's actually moving in the background. So that's the easiest way, I guess, to achieve it in that like that. The scrolling background, if you actually want to, so for instance, let's go into my camera and I'll switch it from perspective to orthographic. So this is so this is the camera settings that you would have if you're doing a 2D game. So you can see that it's the background is not actually moving, and I need to scale it down and stuff like that. To do a parallax movement, I think the easiest way to do it, let me see, where is my background? Yeah, you can just add a flow machine here. Added graph, and I want to do a late update. Late update, so to make sure that everything, all the player movement is done before I run this, and all I do is set position of the background. You probably need to do some offset based on or not. If you center the background, it should be fine. But the easy way of doing it is you can get position, and you want to get the position of the character. So character, then multiply by a generic, and here let's set float. You can specify how much you want to move it. So if you move it exactly at once at 1, then it's going to be following the character perfectly. So exactly, there's not going to be no difference. But if you want it to have that parallax effect, that it's further away, meaning that it's going to be moving slower than the player is moving, then you can set this value to, like, let's say 0.8. I'm not sure like how big of a how small of a value, but let's say 0.8. And now if I play, so if the player is moving, it's going to be moving 1/8 of that movement. and my player is okay. I forgot that I need to the order layers now. I need to change the order layers now too. So you can see that the background is moving based on the player. Let's actually scale it down because it's so it's not working perfectly because I have smooth on the camera, and yeah, actually I want to follow not the player, but I want to actually follow the camera. That's the difference, because I have the camera that is moving and want to actually follow the camera, not the player. If I had the solid move, if the camera was following the player perfectly, then I could have used the character, but I want to use the camera. Where's my camera? Main camera. Because since I'm using the Cine Machine, it has the smoothing of my camera follow. Okay, again, I forgot to order the layer to the -1. Okay. So now it's much smoother. Oops. 0.2. Actually, no. 1.2. Okay. But you can see that it's actually like jumpy a little bit. The background, if I do it like that, it's because there isn't air control. The Cine Machine is probably using also late update, which makes it that I can't really control what gets executed first. So sometimes my my position change of the background gets executed first, and sometimes the Cine Machine camera gets executed first. So that's why you see that jittering. So if you want to have that perfect, I guess, follow, then you would want to, you would have to actually like convert to have the background to be controlled with the camera. So you have to write your own camera script follow and stuff like that. But like I said, like you can just get away with just having a parallax effect to it by setting the to perspective view, and just then control by the distance how far away the background is to make it work that way. So this is like more of a 2.5D, I guess, platformer. Although I think for 2.5D, you use you actually use 3D models for your platforms. That way, you have that the platforms are 2.5. You're just moving in just in the X direction, in just X and Y direction, and not the Z direction. So that's just, yeah, that's an explanation right there. Okay, so a level complete screen. What do we do if there's more than one layer of the background? For example, behind the player, there's a building, and further behind the building that are mounting. So if you're using that, if you're using the orthodox, what is it called? If you're not using the perspective orthographics view, then you want to use the different value for the multiplier. So the closer it is, the closer it will be to 1. And if it's in front of the camera, then you actually go above 1, which is going to make it look like it's moving faster. If you're using the perspective view, then you just change how far away it is. So let me see if I can demonstrate that. So for instance, let's say this is grass right here is going to be like, I guess, bushes or something like that. And I can just move it in the Z direction. So my background is currently at 18. So, and the bush is going to be at 9. Let's say like that. Something like that. The bush is pretty far. Let's actually make the bush a little bit smaller. Scale. Okay, so something like this. Put the bush right here. So the bush is now halfway to the background. So you can see that it's actually okay, I had a 2D. I have 2D on, so I can't really see exactly what I'm seeing for. Turn off the perspective. Okay, there we go. So let's say that we're gonna do something like this. So I don't have a perfect like a lower, I guess. So, but something like this, you can see that the background and and that bush is moving different speeds. Then still moving, but you can see that it's moving at different speed than the background. So that's how you would convert, do that. So, okay, back to UI. So I'm gonna copy the game over and let me turn it on, make sure that I can see it. And it's not gonna be our game over. It's gonna be our, turn it on. Level complete. I'm not sure if I spelled it correctly. So level complete. Level complete. Let's say level completed. Okay, and I think I need more width to be able to fix that. And instead of play again, I'm gonna say play next level. I'm not gonna actually create a next level right now, but I'm just gonna set it up to at least say that. Okay, so level complete, play next level, and I'll just leave the logic of resetting. Alrighty. And we can go back to our door. And in our door flow state, instead of displaying this message, we can just do set active. Set it to true, and we can do level complete UI. Let's try it out. So we'll need to go open that. We almost threw that box off. Yeah, I missed the question. I mean, I read it, but I didn't ask. Didn't answer. Do I make effect like a potion? Player twice jump. No, the. Wait, what is that? That was weird. What happened there? Yeah, for some reason the player got stuck in the falling pose. I can add some animations for the double jump, or are you asking if I'm using like a potion that you need to like drink to be able to do double jump or something like that? So there we go. Now we have the level complete working, and you can click play next, but it just starts this level all over again. The player disappears in the door because we're not actually specifying the rendering and rendering order, and I don't think. Let me try it and see if I switch the rendering order to -1, if it's going to actually affect it. I'm not sure if the perspective camera actually ignores all of the rendering layers. So I'm going to be finishing off here. So, okay, it looks like it disappeared altogether. 1, 0. So for instance, if I do, I guess it does still affect it. It's just background is at rendering layer. So if I -2. So I think that the way that I would go about it is change the player to be rendered not just move the player a little bit forward. Okay, what I was trying to do is the door. I want to move it to -1 and see if that's so the rendering layer actually works. That's cool. That's good. That's good to know. So, but I think the easier one would be just setting the player to 1. That way, the player is going to be always in front of all of my default positionings. It's good. So I'll be ending the stream, and I'll actually gonna whatever I did here, I'll make sure I'll go through and. Forgot that I set the rendering depth of the door to -1. Need to change it back to 0. And I'll add some comments in places, and I'll update the package on itch.io. So if you have the package already, or if you want to get it, an update is going to be coming out today with this addition to it. Okay, so there we go. Let's win this game one more time. Make sure we don't get those spikes. I don't know if I should disable the double jump in this game. If you don't want that If you don't want a double jump to go, we double jump to work, jump reset to work when you hit the platform. There is a way around it, and maybe I'll show that a little bit later. Okay, so thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the stream. When is the next live stream? When is the next live stream? I'll try to make another stream next week. And I'll try to aim for Saturday, actually. So next Saturday, I'll try to make another live stream at the same time. So thanks for joining. See you. Yeah, I missed some of this, but I'm gonna watch it from the start. Okay, cool. Well, enjoy it. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.